저 짜투리 시간을 이용해서 원서 읽기 3년, 5년, 10년 뒤의 내가 나를 보면서 어떤 생각을 할까? 나는 열심히 살았다라고 나한테 칭찬해 줄 수 있을까? 라는 관점에서 저를 보다 보면 요 최근의 생활 패턴들은 조금 칭찬을 해줘도 되지 않을까? 아직 모자란가? 그러니까 이제 아직 뭐 성과는 안 나왔습니다. 제가 얼음병에 걸려가지고 막 이렇게 시작만 하면은 막 이제는 다 성공할 것 같다. 이런 얼음병에서는 점차 탈피하고 있는 것 같습니다. 미래의 나 잘 봐. 절대로 하루아침에 이루어지는 건 없다라는 걸 이제 깨달고 있고 그만큼 시간을 투자해야 된다. 그 투자하는 과정이 바로바로 성과가 안 나오니까 힘들고 지겹고 하기 싫고 이런데 그 생각에 매몰되기보다는 행동을 먼저 함으로써 생각을 다시 긍정적으로 바꾸는 일상 루틴을 만들어 가고 있으니까, 나중에 분명 성공해 있을 거야. 더 큰 성공을 거두고 있을 거니까, 나를 위해 투자하는 걸 멈추지 말았으면 좋겠어. 자, 조금 있으면 이제 나가야 되는데, 나가기 전에 시간을 최대한 활용을 해서, 담은 십몇 분밖에 남지 않았지만, 최대한, 어, 시간을 알뜰하게 써보고 나가도록 하겠습니다. 자, The Catcher in the Rye, Chapter 10. It was still pretty early. I'm not sure what time it was, but it wasn't too late. The one thing I hate to do is go to bed when I'm not even tired, so I opened my suitcases and took out a clean shirt. And then I went in the bathroom and washed and changed my shirt. What I thought I'd go downstairs and see what the hell was going on in the lavender room. They had this nightclub, the Lavender Lavender Room in the hotel. While I was changing my shirt, I damn near gave my kid sister Phoebe a buzz, though I certainly felt like talking to her on the phone. Somebody with sense at all. Somebody with sense at all. But I couldn't take a chance on giving her a buzz because she was only a little kid and she wouldn't have been up, let alone anywhere near the phone. I thought of maybe hanging up if my parents answered, but that wouldn't have worked either. They'd know it was me. My mother always knows it's me. She's psychic. But I certainly wouldn't have minded shooting the crap with old Phoebe for a while. You should see her. You never saw a little kid so pretty and smart in your whole life. She's really smart. I mean, she's had all A's ever since she started school. As a matter of fact, I'm the only dumb one in the family. My brother Davy is a writer and all. My brother Dave is a writer and all. And my brother Ellie, the one that died, that I told you about, was a wizard. I'm the only really dumb one. But you ought to see old Phoebe. She has this sort of red hair, a little bit like Alice was, but that's very short in the summertime. In the summertime, she sticks it behind her ears. She has nice, pretty little ears. In the wintertime, it's pretty long though. Sometimes my mother braids it and sometimes she doesn't. It's really nice though. She's only 10. She's quite skinny like me, but nice skinny. The roller skate skinny. I watched her once from the window when she was crossing over Fifth Avenue to go to the park, and that's what she is, roller skate skinny. You'd like her. I mean, if you tell old Phoebe something, she knows exactly what the hell you're talking about. I mean, you can even take her anywhere with you. If you take her to a lousy movie, for instance, she knows it's a lousy movie. If you take her to a pretty good movie, she knows it's a pretty good movie. DB and I took her to see this French movie, The Vicar's Wife, with a rhyme in it. It killed her. Her favorite is the 39 steps. 39 steps, though, with a Robert Donut. She knows the whole goddamn movie by heart. by heart because I've taken her to see it about 10 times. When old Donut comes up to this Scotch farmhouse, for instance, when he's running away from the cops and all, Phoebe will say right out loud in the movie, right when the Scotch guy in the picture say it, can you eat the herring? She knows all the talk by heart. And when this professor in the picture, that's really a German spy, sticks up his little finger with a part of the middle joint missing to show Robert the donut. Old Phoebe beats him to it. She holds up her little finger at me in the dark, right in front of my face. She were all right. You'd like her. The only trouble is she's a little too affectionate sometimes. She's very emotional for a poor child. She really is. Something else she does, she writes books all the time. Only she does finish them. They are all about some kid named Hager Weatherfield. Only old Phoebe spells it Hazel. Old Hazel Weatherfield is a girl detective. She's supposed to be an orphan, but her old man keeps showing up. Her old man's always a tall, attractive gentleman about 20 years of age. That kills me, old Phoebe. I swear to God, you'd like her. She was smart even when she was a very tiny little kid. When she was a very tiny little kid, I and Ellie used to take her to the park with us, especially on Sundays. Ellie had this sailboat he used to like to fool around with on Sundays, and we used to take old Phoebe with us. She's wear white gloves and walk right between us like a lady and all. And when Ellie and I were having some conversation about things in general, although Phoebe'd be listening, sometimes you'd forget she was around because she was such a little kid. But uh, but she'd let you know, she'd interrupt you all the time. She'd give Ellie or I push or something and say, Who said that? Bobby or the lady? And we'd tell her who said it, and she'd say, oh, and go right in on listening and all. She killed Ellie too. I mean, he liked her too. She's 10 now and not such a tiny little kid anymore, but she still kills everybody. Everybody with any sense anyway. Anyway, she was somebody you always felt like talking to on the phone. But I was too afraid my parents would answer, and then they'd find out I was in New York and kicked out of Pansy and all. So I just finished putting on my shirt that I got all ready and went down in the elevator to the lobby to see what was going on. Except for a few pimpy looking guys and a few hoary looking blondes. The lobby was pretty empty, but you could hear the band playing in the lavender room, and so I went in there. It wasn't very crowded, but they gave me a lousy table anyway, way in the back. I should have waved a buck under the head raider's nose in New York, boy. Money really talks, I'm not kidding. The band was putrid. Buddy Singer, a very brassy, but not good brassy, corny brassy. Also, there were very few people around my age in the place. In fact, nobody was around my age. They were mostly old, show-offy looking guys with their dates. Except at the table right next to me. At the table right next to me, there were these three girls around 30 or so. The whole three of them were pretty ugly, and they all had on the kind of heads that you knew they didn't really live in New York. But one of them, the blonde one, wasn't too bad. She was sort of cute. The blonde one, and I started giving her the old eye a little bit, but just then the waiter came up from my order. I ordered a scotch and soda and told him not to mix it. I said it fast as hell, because if you ham and haw, they think you are under 21 and want to sell you any intoxicating liquor. I had trouble with him anyway, though. I'm sorry, sir, he said. But do you have some verification of your age? Your driver's license, perhaps? I gave him this very cold stare, like he had insulted the hell out of me, and asked him, do I look like I'm under 21? I'm sorry, sir, but we have our... Okay, okay, I said. I figured the hell with it. Bring me a Coke. He started to go away, but I called him back. Can't you stick a little alarm in it or something? I asked him. I asked him very nicely at all. I can't sit in a corny place like this cold sober. Can't you stick a little rum in it or something? I'm very sorry, sir, he said, and bit it on me. I didn't hold it against him, though. They lose their jobs if they get caught selling to a minor. I'm a goddamn minor. I started giving the three witches at the next table the eye again. That is, the blonde one. The other two were strictly from hunger. I didn't do it crudely, though. I just gave all three of them this very cool glance and all. What they did, though, the three of them, when I did it, they started giggling like morons. They probably thought I was too young to give anybody the once over. That anyone hell out of me, you'd have thought I wanted to marry them or something. I should have given them the freeze after they did that. But the trouble was, I really felt like dancing. I'm very fond of dancing sometimes, and that was one of the times. So all of a sudden, I sort of leaned over and said, "Would any of you girls care to dance?" I didn't ask them crudely or anything. Very suave, in fact. But god damn it, they thought there was a panic too. They started giggling some more. I'm not kidding. They were three real morons. Come on, I said. I'll dance with you one at a time, all right? How about it? Come on. I really felt like dancing. Finally, the blonde one got up to dance with me because you could tell I was really talking to her, and we walked out to the dance floor. The other two girls nearly had hysterics when we did. I certainly must have been very hard up to even bother with any of them, but it was worth it. The blonde was some dancer. She was one of the best dancers I ever danced with. I'm not kidding. Some of these very stupid girls can really knock you out on a dance floor. You take a really smart girl, and half the time she's trying to lead you around the dance floor. Whereas she's such a lousy dancer, the best thing to do is stay at the table and just get drunk with her. You really can dance. I told the blonde one, you ought to be a pro. I mean it. I danced with a pro once, and you're twice as good as she was. Did you ever hear of Marco and Miranda? What? She said. She wasn't even listening to me. She was looking all around the place. I said, did you ever hear of Marco and Miranda? I don't know. No, I don't know. Well, they are dancers. She's a dancer. She's not too hot, though. She does everything she's supposed to, but she's not so hot anyway. You know, when a girl's really a terrific dancer, would you guys, would you say, would you say? She said. She wasn't listening to me even. Her mind was wandering all over the place. I said, do you know when a girl's really a terrific dancer? Well, where I have my hand on your back, if I think there isn't anything underneath my hands, no legs, no feet, no anything, then the girl's really a terrific dancer. She wasn't listening. She wasn't listening though, so I ignored her for a while. We just danced. God, could that dopey girl dance? Buddy Singer and his stinking band was playing just one of those things, and even they couldn't run it entirely. It just felt so. I didn't try any trick stuff while we danced. I hate a guy that does there's a lot of show of tricky stuff on the dance floor. but I was moving her around plenty and she stayed with me. The funny thing is, I thought she was enjoying it too, till all of a sudden she came out with this dumb remark. I and my girlfriend saw Peter Lorre last night, she said. The movie actor, in person. He was buying a newspaper. He's cute. You're lucky, I told her. You're really, really lucky. You know that? She was really a moron, but what a dancer. I could hardly stop myself from sort of giving her a kiss on the top of her dopey head. You know, right where the pot is and all. She got sore when I did it. Hey, what's the idea? Nothing, no idea. You really can dance. I said, I have a kid sister that's only in the goddamn first grade. You're about as good as she is, and she can dance better than anybody living or dead. What's your language, if you don't mind? What a lady, boy. A queen, for Christ's sake. Well, where are you girls from? I asked her. She didn't answer me, though. She was busy looking around for all the Peter Lorre to show up, I guess. Where you girls from? I asked her again. What? She said. Where you girls from? Don't answer if you don't feel like it. I don't want you to strain yourself. Seattle, Washington. She said. She was doing me a big favor to tell me. You're a very good conversationalist, I told her. You know what? You know that? What? I let it drop. It was over her head anyway. Do you feel like jitterbugging a little bit if they play a fast one? Not Connie jitterbug, not jump or anything. Just a nice and easy. Everybody's all sit down when they play a fast one, except the old guys and the fat guys, and we will have plenty of room, okay? It's immaterial to me, she said. Hey, how old are you anyway? That annoyed me for some reason. Oh Christ, don't spoil it, I said. I'm 12, for Christ's sake. I'm big for my age. Listen, I told you about that. I don't like that type language, she said. If you're gonna use that type language, I can go sit down with my girlfriend. You know, I apologized like a madman because the band was starting a fast one. She started jitterbugging with me, but just a very nice and easy, not corny. She was really good. All you had to do was touch her. And when she turned around, her pretty little butt twitched so nice and all. She knocked me out, I mean it. I was half in love with her by the time we sat down. That's the thing about girls. Every time they do something pretty, even if they are not much to look at, or even if they are sort of stupid, you fall half in love with them. And then you never know where the hell you are. Girls, Jesus Christ, they can drive you crazy. They really can. They didn't invite me to sit down at their table, mostly because they were too ignorant, but I sat down anyway. The blonde I'd been dancing with name was Bernice something. Crabs or Craps. The two ugly ones named were Marty and Laverne. I told them my name was Jim Steele, just for the hell of it. Then I tried to get them in a little intelligent conversation, but it was practically impossible. You had to twist their arms. You could hardly tell which was the stupidest of the three of them. And the whole three of them kept looking all around the goddamn room, like as if they expected a flock of goddamn movie stars to come in any time, to come in any time, to come in any time, any minutes. They probably thought that movie stars always hung out in the lavender room when they came to New York, instead of the Stork Club, El Morocco at all. Anyway, it took me about a half hour to find out where they all walked and all in Seattle. They all walked in the same insurance office. I asked them if they liked it, but do you think they could get an intelligent answer out of those three dopes? I thought the two ugly ones, Marty and the Laverne, were sisters, but they got very inserted when I asked them. You could tell neither one of them wanted to look like the other one, and you couldn't blame them. But it was very amusing anyway. I danced with them all, the whole three of them, one at a time. The one ugly one, Raven, wasn't too bad a dancer, but the other one, Old Marty, was murder. Old Marty was like dragging the Statue of Liberty around the floor. The only way I could even half enjoy myself dragging her around was if I amused myself a little. So I told her I just saw Gary Cooper, the movie star, on the other side of the floor. Where? She asked me, excited as hell. Where? You just missed him. He just went out. Why didn't you look when I told you? She practically stopped the dancing and started looking over everybody's heads to see if she could see him. Oh shoot, she said. I was just about to broken her heart. I really had. I was sorry as hell I'd kidded her. Some people you shouldn't kid, even if they deserve it. Here's what was very funny though. When we got back to the table, old Marty told her the other two that Gary Cooper had just gotten out. Boy, old Raven and Bernice nearly committed suicide. When they heard that, they got all excited and asked Marty if she'd seen him at all. Old Mart said he'd only caught a glimpse of him. It killed me. The bar was closing up for the night, so I bought them all two drinks a piece quick before it closed, and I ordered two more cokes for myself. The goddamn table was lousy with glasses. The one ugly one, Laverne, kept kidding me because I was only drinking cokes. She had a stirring sense of humor. She and old Marty were drinking Tom Collins's in the middle of December. For God's sake, they didn't know any better. The blonde one, old Bernice, was drinking bourbon and water. She was really putting it away, too. Really put it away, too. The whole three of them kept looking for movie stars the whole time. They hardly talked even to each other. Old Marty talked more than the other two. She kept saying these very corny, boring things like calling the can a little girl's room. And she thought the body singer's poor, old beat up clarinet player was really terrific when he stood up and took a couple of ice cold hot licks. She called his clarinet a licor- licorice stick. Was she corny? The other ugly one, Raven, thought she was a very witty type. She kept asking me to call up my father and ask him what he was doing tonight. She kept asking me if my father had a date or not. 4 times she asked me that. She was certainly witty. Old Bernice, the blonde one, didn't say hardly anything at all. Every time I'd ask her something, she said, "What?" They can get on your nerves after a while. All of a sudden, when they finished their drink, all three of them stood up on me and said they had to get to bed. They said they were going to get up early to see the first show at Radio City Music Hall. I tried to get them to stay around for a while, but they wouldn't, so we said goodbye and all. I told them I'd look them up in Seattle sometime. If I ever got there, but I doubt if I ever will. Look them up, I mean. With the cigarettes and all, the check came to about $30. I think they should have at least offered to pay for the drinks they had before I joined them. I wouldn't let them naturally, but they should have at least offered. I didn't care much though. They were so ignorant, and they had those sad fancy hats on and all. And that business about getting up early to see the first show at Radio City Music Hall depressed me. If somebody, some girl in an awful looking hat, for instance, comes all the way to New York from Seattle, Washington, for God's sake, and ends up getting up early in the morning to see the goddamn first show at Radio City Music Hall, it makes me so depressed. I can't stand it. I would bought the whole three of them 100 drinks if only they hadn't told me that. I left the lavender room pretty soon after they did. They were closing it up anyway, and the band had quit a long time ago. In the first place, it was one of those places that are very terrible to be in unless you have somebody good to dance with or unless the waiter lets you buy real drinks instead of just cokes. There isn't any nightclub in the world you can sit in for a long time unless you can at least buy some liquor and get drunk. Or unless you're with some girl that really knocks you out.